Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're watching this video, you may have already heard about the stimulus checks, but I've got breaking news for you today. If you've missed out on your $1,400 stimulus check, there's still time to claim it. That's right, the IRS is still processing payments, and many Americans are still eligible to receive these critical funds. In today's video, we're going to break down exactly what the $1,400 stimulus check is, who qualifies for it, how to claim it, and what to do if you haven't received yours yet. Before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. You don't want to miss any updates on this groundbreaking financial relief effort. The $1,400 stimulus check, part of the $1.90 trillion American Rescue Plan, was signed into law by President Joe Biden on March 11, 2021. But the story of these payments goes back much further, starting in March 2020 during the early days of the pandemic, when former President Trump and Congress enacted the first round of stimulus checks under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security (CARES) Act. These checks were intended to help Americans cope with the unprecedented economic shutdowns and the widespread impact of COVID-19. However, it was clear that many families would continue to need financial support as the pandemic dragged on. The idea of direct payments to individuals was championed by lawmakers across both parties, most notably Senator Bernie Sanders, who pushed for additional relief for American workers. The COVID-19 pandemic revealed deep vulnerabilities in the economy, including rising unemployment and surging healthcare costs, which brought the stimulus checks to the forefront as a lifeline for millions. Basic eligibility requirements. One of the most important aspects of the $1,400 stimulus check is understanding who qualifies for it. The eligibility is based on your adjusted gross income, AGI, as reported on your most recent tax return. For individuals, the full $1,400 is available if your AGI is $75,000 or less. For heads of household, the threshold is $112,500. And for married couples filing jointly, you must have an AGI of $150,000 or less to receive the full payment. Income phase-out. What if you earn more than these thresholds? Well, don't worry, you're still eligible for a partial payment, but the amount will gradually phase out as your income increases. For every $100 above the income limit, your stimulus payment decreases by $5. This means that if you earn just above the threshold, you'll still get some help, but the closer you get to $80,000, for individuals, $120,000, heads of household, or $160,000, married couples, the less you'll receive. Including children, college students, and other dependents, in previous rounds of stimulus payments, only children under the age of 17 were eligible for the added $500 or $600 per dependent. However, this time around, the $1,400 payment is expanded to include dependents of all ages, including adult dependents like college students and elderly family members. For example, if you have a college student who is still dependent on you, you can claim an additional $1,400. The same applies if you care for an elderly relative or someone with disabilities. For many families, this represents a substantial increase in the total amount they can receive. For instance, a family with 2 children and 1 college student could receive up to $4,200, thanks to the expansion of dependent eligibility. Newborns and new dependents. Another crucial update is that if you had a baby in 2021 or a new dependent, you may qualify for the $1,400 payment even if the IRS didn't automatically issue it based on your 2020 tax return. If you had a baby in 2021, you can claim the $1,400 payment when filing your 2021 taxes. The IRS relies on the 2020 tax returns to determine eligibility, so the $1,400 payment for newborns will be processed as a recovery rebate credit when you file in 2022. College students who are dependent on their parents are eligible for the $1,400 stimulus check. This is a major change from the previous rounds, where college students were often excluded from the payments. The expansion in eligibility ensures that more families are supported during this crisis. IRS deadlines. Here's the most important part: if you haven't received your payment yet, you're running out of time to claim it. The IRS has set specific deadlines for those who need to file taxes in order to claim their stimulus payment. Generally, the deadline to claim the $1,400 payment is 3 years from the date the original tax return was due. For most people, this means you have until April 15, 2024, to file your taxes and claim your payment through the recovery rebate credit. What if you miss the deadline? If you miss the deadline to claim your payment, you will forfeit your stimulus check. That's why it's crucial to file your tax return on time, even if you don't usually file taxes. The IRS isn't sending out checks indefinitely, so you must act quickly. Who needs to file a tax return? Social Security recipients, veterans, Railroad Retirement Board beneficiaries, and others who typically do not file a tax return may need to file one in order to claim their payment. Even if you are not required to file taxes, you can still claim your stimulus payment. This is especially important for those who are non-filers, individuals who do not have a filing requirement but were eligible for the $1,400 payment. The IRS has a non-filer tool for these individuals to easily claim their payment. Mixed status families. In a mixed status family where one spouse has a Social Security number and the other does not, there is still an opportunity to qualify for the stimulus check. This is a critical expansion in eligibility, as previous rounds of stimulus checks excluded families where one spouse did not have a Social Security number, SSN. Why you might have missed your payment. There are several reasons why you may not have received your $1,400 stimulus payment. Some of the most common reasons include a change in your filing status, e.g., you filed as a dependent in 2020 but are filing independently in 2021. A move to a new address that was not updated with the IRS. Errors in your banking information, such as an incorrect or outdated direct deposit account number. Check payment status. The IRS has an online tool called Get My Payment, where you can check the status of your stimulus payment. This tool will let you know if the payment has been issued and when it was sent. If the tool says that a payment was issued to you, but you never received it, you can request a payment trace. This process is free, and the IRS will work with you to resolve any issues. The process to claim your $1,400 stimulus payment is straightforward, and it all begins when you file your 2021 tax return. Here's how to do it. Gather your documents, your tax forms, Social Security number, and any other relevant information. Use an online tax preparation software that can automatically calculate the amount of stimulus payments you've received. File your tax return and be sure to include the recovery rebate credit. If you owe taxes, pay them. If you're due a refund, your $1,400 stimulus payment will be included. Why your payment might be lower. If you received less than $1,400, there are a few potential reasons. You might have earned more than the eligibility threshold, resulting in a reduced payment. The IRS may have issued a payment based on an outdated tax return or incorrect information. Let's bust some myths that have been circulating about the stimulus payments. Stimulus payments are not taxable. The IRS cannot garnish stimulus payments for debts like credit cards or medical bills, except in certain cases. The IRS provides multiple resources to help you navigate the process. If you're facing problems with your payment or need assistance, you can contact the Taxpayer Advocate Service for support. The IRS provides multiple resources to help you navigate the process. If you're facing problems with your payment or need assistance, you can contact the Taxpayer Advocate Service for support. The IRS provides multiple resources to help you navigate the process. If you're facing problems with your payment or need assistance, you can contact the Taxpayer Advocate Service for support.